Well, frankly, of all the things that were going on at the time, it turned out that transplantation was the most intriguing because my basic training was in surgery and in immunology, and it lent itself very well to transplantation. And the problem was that how could we alter the immunological response of the recipient and still be able to maintain a good homeostasis for the recipient and yet have altered it enough so that the transplant would be accepted without being rejected. And so I took time off and spent a couple of years doing immunology to determine how that could be done, and then I went back to the bedside. A variety of people. I think my time at Scripps Clinic and Research Foundation in La Jolla was probably the best, and at that time I was working under Dr. Frank Dixon and Dr. Joseph Feldman, two outstanding immunologists, and that's when I really thought that something could be done in transplantation which wasn't being done, and so their training that I received turned out to be very beneficial. There definitely is going to be a reason for it. And the reason for having a continuation of the society is, as we resolve one problem in transplantation, we seek another. And the ultimate goal is to be able to transplant into individuals without altering their own immune response to all of the pathogens that we're all exposed to, and yet be able to maintain a successful transplant. So therefore, I think there'll always be a reason. And once we do resolve the problem of making altered immunological response in the recipient, then we'll go further from that point on, and we'll be looking at other things such as xenotransplantations, in other words, transplantation across species barriers and things of that nature. And that is very, very real and very needed because eventually there won't be enough organs to go around. And so we have to look at the animal kingdom, and in particular, we have our eye on the pig, the common, ordinary farmyard pig, as being an ideal candidate for being the source of transplants for the future. And at the present time, this looks highly possible. Well, I think the people that were early on as presidents of the society, such as Peter Medawar, who probably is the smartest man that you could possibly imagine. I mean, he was the ultimate. He really put the society on its feet and made it so it was very, very functional and very active in relationship to transplantation. And so I would certainly put Peter Medawar, who, by the way, was a Nobel laureate, as you know, as the most important person and as a father of the society. After that would come Rupert Billingham, I think, was also a person who contributed rather remarkably to the society and was another very outstanding immunologist. Sir Michael Woodruff was a remarkable man. I loved that guy. He, so much so that I had applied to him for post residency training in immunology. And he told me that he would accept me, but I would have to wait 2 years because he had made commitments for the next 2 years. I felt very badly about that, but it turned out that it was a good thing because that eventually made me look further, and I came up with the name of Frank Dixon, who was probably one of the greatest immunologists in this country.